I find this post quite interesting on Reddit. Forrest, disability, spending, and top tier camera work. See, here's the thing. When I saw this post, I was like, you know what? Let me go back to the clip that I'd made of the previous episode regarding Forrest and Sheena, which is something that we're going to get into in a second. But let's just read what it says here. It says, I noticed the funniest thing on the last episode, 90 Day. Right before Forrest explained that he was on disability, there was like 2 or 3 very clear shots of his watch. Quite interesting. Possible I'm mistaken it, but it feels like they were trying to highlight the fact that he's professing that he's on disability, yet feels he can afford a $800 Apple Ultra watch. Damn, $800 watch. Also continue by saying, is it just me or have the camera folks been doing this little more often or a little more recently? They kind of quietly foreshadow things or maybe question the narrative that's being told by showing us details that contradict it. So this is where things get quite interesting. So I started thinking about this whole watch thing. Now, when I went back to my clips, unfortunately, I didn't actually put that in there per se because I wasn't aware of it. But then there was something that I was listening to when Forrest was talking about him being on disabilities. And it is quite interesting because right now, there was a situation where the mom has not been happy with the fact that Sheena, each time she works and saves her own money to be able to come to America, that money always ends up going to where? Ends up going to her parents, because her parents allegedly keep taking it out of her account without her actually knowing, which is kind of weird because she does know, because she did admit multiple times that she is the person in the house that is the breadwinner, the person that earns the money. So therefore, the parents are always going to be obliged to want to take money out of her account because that's just the way their culture works. So there were certain things that obviously Sheena then said as well, and I sit and I say to myself, has Sheena got an issue with telling the truth? Is this something that she does? But let's get into why I'm saying this. So as we can see, as per the clip.
Hearing that Sheena's parents are going to probably ask me about my career and how I make money, it makes me extremely nervous.
You know what? I thought I didn't even have a clip of the Apple Watch, but then I realized he's literally watching it. He's literally wearing it right there. God damn, $800, and my man has no job. He is on disabilities. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But I'm going to get into why it's interesting.
Makes me extremely nervous. I focus or do certain tasks that normal people would be able to do. It takes a lot for my boss to come back to me and keep telling me, hey, Forrest, you're messing up. Hey, Forrest, you're doing this wrong. Well, I haven't had a job in several years.
So here's the thing. He hasn't had a job in several years because each time he goes to a job, there's always an issue with the way he works, okay? Whether he's doing things wrong, he's doing things too slowly, or he's just doing whatever the hell he's doing. All right, cool. We get it. He's on the spectrum. We get it. It makes it hard for him to get a job, which, to be fair, I do find quite interesting because there's many people in this world that are on the spectrum and are able to get a job and are able to keep the job and able to even thrive as being one of the best people at the job. Now, of course, when it comes to being on the spectrum, everyone has different levels. Some people are severe, some people are mild, etc., etc. But he is not a severe case of somebody that is on autism, okay? He's not even that far similar to what Niles was. Their autism is probably not the same. They're probably on two different parts of the spectrum. But in terms of being able to live a day-to-day life, that is something that he can do. Being able to live in his own home, look after himself, is something that he's able to do. Of course, the difference between him and Niles is that Niles' parents said, listen, son, go and live. With him, his mum always wants to be around him. And also, let's not forget, this is a man that was able to go online, find a partner. First one was in Indonesia, get a plane, all the way in Indonesia. Whether he got scammed or not, it is what it is, and then come back. Came back to the United States, and what happened? He went back online again, found another woman all the way in the Philippines, and look at him now, all the way back there again. And also on top of that, let's not forget, folks, this is a guy that has not had a job in a set amount of time, but he's been able to have the ability to buy and install cameras all around his home, just so Sheena can watch his every single move when she is there, obviously in her homeland, doing her own thing. So the fact that he has the ability to set up a whole camera system that she can watch and stream from wherever the hell she is, he's able to obviously be able to afford the equipment itself alone, even afford the internet, afford the watch. Really and truly, when it comes to this whole situation regarding him not being able to get a job because he can't stay on because of his disability, listen, I'm not trying to knock his disability and I'm not trying to downplay it, but if you ask me personally, something isn't making sense when it comes to Forrest, because really and truly, he is now in a position where he's found a woman who's working, and yet him and his mum wants to have an attitude towards her not using the money to come to America, yet he ain't doing nothing to actually try and do what? Have a job to earn money. And also on top of that, let's call it what it is, folks. When somebody is in love and somebody truly wants to be with you, what would they do? They would go above and beyond to make it work. So the fact that he hasn't even tried, in my opinion, to go above and beyond to get a job and to try and help her financially with getting into America is very, very questionable. But there's something that Sheena says later on in this episode that kind of makes me feel like maybe Sheena never wanted to come to America in the first place, and she's hoping that Forrest will stay there with her. But let's get into why I think that.
And I've been living on disability checks. Sheena has always understood.
Now listen, I don't know how much you get paid on disability checks in America, but please do let me know. Do disability checks in America allow you to buy $800 Apple Ultra watch? Does it allow you to have whole camera system all around you? Now, of course, I'm not saying that his mum hasn't given him money, but let me know.
My situation and for our future, and I feel awful about it.
And the truth is, I'm quite frustrated that Forrest has a guy that he doesn't have work, but save anything for a future. And now I'm going to have to tell my parents the truth about Forrest's financial situation.
So this is the thing that I find quite interesting when it comes to Sheena. This is a woman that I say struggles to tell the truth, because here's the thing. She couldn't tell Forrest the truth regarding the money and obviously where it's going or why the parents keep taking it, amongst other things that also Molly wants to know. Whether or not Forrest and Molly are entitled to knowing this information is whatever. But the fact that she can't even tell her own parents that she's in a relationship with a guy that doesn't have a job, hasn't had a job for like God knows how long, and also on top of that, given the fact that she can't even tell Forrest himself that she's unhappy with the fact that he cannot provide, it's like, what are you doing with yourself? Why is she in this relationship? Where is the benefit for you? Because it seems to me that none of this is making really any sense, to be honest with you. Now, let's not forget, though, it's already been exposed that these two already met in 2019, and this was not their first time meeting, even though that's a storyline that they are going with. So it makes you really wonder, what is actually going on here? Is there any truth to the money that's going on, obviously, when it comes to herself earning it, and then obviously her parents taking it? Is there any truth to him not having a job? Is there any truth to literally any of this stuff? Because now things are just making less and less sense. But either way, though, the fact that it seems as if she cannot be fully transparent with Forrest, that's already a massive red flag within their relationship. Because really and truly, if you cannot talk to your partner about anything and everything, especially financials, that tells you everything you need to know about that person that you're with. It tells you that 1, you don't trust them, 2, you don't respect them, and 3, well, guess what? The crack's already there. And if you're gonna lie once about something else, you're gonna lie more than once about other things. And when it comes to Sheena, she's lied about the situation for her own money, also lied obviously in terms of telling her parents, well, not telling her parents, shall I say, and is also now withholding information by not telling Forrest about how she really feels about him not working. And to be fair, if she did, the next time Molly will come for her and say, hey, what are you doing with this money? Why are you lying to us? Why can't you tell us the truth? Really and truly, that is the moment that Sheena should be like, listen, your son doesn't motherfucking work. You can't tell me nothing. Of course, that would not be the right time to say that, honestly, because that would just cause a whole kerfuffle. But you get the gist of what I'm saying here, I hope.
I get emotional because the pressure on my shoulders is quite hard. So I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, listen, yes, the pressure on the shoulders is hard, but I don't feel sorry for her because she seems to be allowing herself to be in this position. Because again, if she was a vocal person, then maybe this pressure that she has or she's going through wouldn't really be happening still. Do you see what I'm saying? But I feel like it's happening because she doesn't seem to know how to, tell the truth. But either way, though, there are questions upon questions when it comes to this couple. Okay, now of course some people chimed in with their own little comments. Someone said, yes, the cameramen have been hiring what? Yes, the cameraman they have been hiring his top tier and raises due because they are catching facial expressions, shade and foreshadows. That is hilarious. Anyway, with that being said, I'm not too focused on the camera people per se and obviously what this has to say, but the question is, what do you think? Do you think that there's something not right when it comes to these two? And also on top of that, do we really believe that Forrest cannot hold down a job? Again, I'm not trying to downsize or try and ignore the fact that he has got disabilities, but at the same time, there are many people that I've come across in this world who have had or have more far severe disabilities than he does, are not able to actually get a job and be completely fine. Hell, listen, growing up as a child, my own best friend when I was younger, both of his parents were blind and his father still worked. And the crazy thing about it, not only did his father worked in a glass factory. Even though he couldn't see, he was able to literally pick up glass and move it place it to where he wanted to do, and he did that for years upon years upon years without a single freaking injury. A man that literally did that without even being able to see. Now that is freaking crazy business. And honestly, I used to be like, bruh, how did I do that? Unfortunately, we never got a chance to ever go. Well, I say we, not like I was ever going to get the chance to, but unfortunately, he never got a chance to go to work with his dad to see obviously how he does things, which would have been cool to hear. But I'm just giving you guys an example that Forrest talking about that he hasn't had a job because of his disabilities and then giving us a list of reasons of why, I call absolute BS given the fact that this guy is clearly a tech savvy. If he's tech savvy, he can get a job in technology 100%. But anyway, with that being said, also when it comes to Sheena, what's going on here? Why does she keep lying? Why does she keep holding information? Why can't she just be honest? Tell Forrest how she feels. I don't like the fact that you don't work. Mum and daddy, just so you know, I'm with a guy who doesn't work. It's not rocket science, but hey, if people want to have cracks and red flags in their relationship and things are going to potentially turn into deal breakers, you know what? That is entirely up to them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.